The lecture hall lights were always too dim for Professor Minyo's taste, or perhaps it was only the late-day sun straining through the high windows. He was an enigma in tweed and linen, his voice a low, resonant chord that made the complex theories of forgotten aesthetics feel like secrets shared. Minyo moved with a dancer's fluid grace, a silent testament to the sculpted definition beneath his elegant clothes. He often caught Heijin's eye, the student who sat in the back row, always silent, always watching, always somehow framed by the light. Heijin waited until the last student had gone, the air thick with the dust of old chalk and new desire. Minyo was erasing the board, the motion deliberate, almost sensual. "You have a question, Heijin?" Minyo asked, not turning, but knowing. Heijin felt the heat of the professor's knowing gaze on his own skin. "The cipher, Professor," Heijin began, his voice barely a whisper. "The one you mentioned from the Goryeo period. It feels personal." That night, the vast, echoing library stacks became their confessional. Minyo pulled a heavy, leather-bound volume from a shelf, their hands brushing in the cool, still air. The shared mystery, the elusive Goryeo cipher, was a thin disguise for the magnetic pull between them. They stood shoulder to shoulder, translating archaic characters, their breathing synchronized, their proximity a heavy, charged silence. Minyo's office, usually a bastion of scholarly order, felt suddenly small, suffocating. He had finally found the key text, a single, loose page tucked into the back of a thesis. As he handed it to Heijun, their eyes met, and the academic barrier dissolved completely. Minyo's hand lingered, a firm, possessive weight on Heijun's forearm, not asking, but stating a claim. A breath was held, a choice was made, silent and irreversible. Minyo found his way to Heijun's hidden rooftop apartment as the first stars pricked the Seoul sky. It was a space of bohemian chaos and exposed brick, a sharp contrast to the university's polished halls. Heijun was across the room, leaning against the window frame, a loose white cotton shirt hanging open, catching the faint city light. Minyo simply watched him, trying to reconcile the rigorous scholar with the man consumed by this illicit, beautiful obsession. "The risk is the whole point, Professor," Heijun murmured, crossing the floor in 3 long strides. He stood before Minyo, unapologetically close, the secret weight of the research and their affection pulling them together. Heijun reached up, tracing the sharp, perfect line of Minyo's jaw with one thumb. The scholar's resistance was a feather-light thing against the force of the student's undeniable passion. Later, wrapped in the silent agreement of their shared space, the cipher felt miles away. The city lights cast long, sapphire shadows across the room, across their skin. Minyo held Heijun close, his chin resting on the top of Heijun's head, their legs intertwined beneath a soft, rumpled blanket. This was not a secret in a dusty book. This was the real, palpable mystery. The rain was a theatrical scrim across the glass of the university arcade. Minyo stood, holding a large, black umbrella over Heijun's head as they walked, a careful distance maintained between them for the eyes of the campus. But Minyo's free hand, hidden by the umbrella's large canopy, was gripping Heijun's upper arm, pulling him close, a silent assurance that the secrets of the night were still heavy and real in the light of day. Back at the apartment, Heijun pored over the transcribed cipher, his brow furrowed in concentration. The message spoke not of art, but of a hidden legacy, a connection to a powerful, secretive foundation. He was no longer just a student, he was a co-conspirator, driven by the thrill of the chase and the love he now shared with Minyo. "This is not just history, Heijun. It's a map to something they still guard fiercely," Minyo admitted, his voice strained as he paced the small space. He ran a hand through his hair, the elegant facade cracking under the pressure of the mystery he had inadvertently pulled them into. The danger was real, and it was tied directly to the institution that employed him. Heijun moved to him, silencing the professor's fears with a firm, determined kiss. "We are in this together, Minyo," he vowed, his hands anchoring the professor's shoulders. The discovery, the danger, and the depth of their bond were all inextricably linked now. There was no going back to the safety of the classroom. They stood together on the rooftop, overlooking the electric pulse of the city. Their city, now marked by their secret history. The cipher was solved, the risk was managed, and their future was uncertain, but unapologetically their own. Minho's arm rested heavy and reassuring around Heijin's waist, a final, beautiful affirmation of their forbidden, mysterious love.